I haven't listened to anything you've said in the last 20 seconds.
Damn it, Trevor. We had a shtick.
Line.
Two friends who hate each other.
Rude.
Talking science fiction.
It has become this cultural phenomenon.
Along with some special guests.
I appreciate what Star Trek did to me.
I would love to have this book get banned.
That wasn't acting. That was real.
Do you know what our YouTube channel is?
Absolutely not. No win scenario.
With Trevor and Don.
Okay, we're not doing that.
Boom.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Season 3 premiere of No Win Scenario. I am Don Schechter, and with me is Trevor Chamberlain. Trevor, Season 3 premiere. Awesome.
Season 3 premiere. Line. Season 3 premiere. Season 3 premiere. Awesome. Yes. Yeah. I totally agree with it.
You are the worst person I know. Look at us. We are in studio. We are live-ish. Live? You're live?
Yeah.
You live?
I'm barely alive.
Like barely alive. Wake up, man. We are here. We are on video. For those of us listening, you can actually watch us and see Trevor, which I know is no one's dream to see you in real life. But we are here in the studio, and we are celebrating because you forgot your line where you were supposed to say, this is not the Season 3 premiere. The Season 3 premiere was last week.
The Season 3 premiere was last week when we interviewed who?
Ed Ashton, author of Mickey 7. Do you remember? Because you were supposed to start this episode interrupting me. We had a shtick.
Yeah.
And you completely
abandoned. I completely abandoned it.
Why did you do that? Why did you just leave me hanging high and dry?
Because I don't listen to you.
I have an art. I have an art. I don't know what that means. I have an art.
That's one way.
But I had an idea.
It's certainly one way.
Yes, but we had a great interview, and we'll talk about that later. But we're here, and we're celebrating because we are just 1 month away from a sweet, sweet payout, thanks to Spreaker and all our ads, and especially our super fans who are listening to all our ads, so that we can afford this amazing free set from Charles River Media. Thank you, Charles River Media. No product placement is not allowed.
It's allowed just as much as that stupid Babylon 5 thing that's in there.
Do not say anything negative about Babylon 5. And I want to point out that I have the Ascendance poster strategically positioned over your head because we can think about how you worked on that film series and had a broom in front of your face pretending to be an alien when there was no camera whatsoever there. And I just had you go back and forth with a broom in front of your face for shadows
fantastic.
For hours.
It was fantastic.
Yeah, but how about the set though, huh? This came together pretty quickly.
Yeah, the set's really great. What I'm really noticing is how much the camera crew is just not laughing at any of this whatsoever, and they just do not look entertained. And frankly, they look pretty bored.
Thank you, Morgan and Ian. Shout out to them. And Mike in the control room.
Yep.
And Sam.
A
lot of people came together with no interest in this whatsoever.
Yeah. A lot of people going unpaid actually paying money out of their own pockets to be a part of this.
But if people are listening on, Apple Podcasts and iHeartRadio and Spotify and Spreaker, you can actually watch us on our YouTube channel. Do you know what our YouTube channel is?
Absolutely not.
Do you know what our TikTok channel is?
Absolutely not.
Well, I hope you all find it because I don't remember myself. But hopefully by the time you see this, we will have figured that out. Is that how that works?
Sure.
Yeah, and how about this window set? How we were in our very free living room set that we were able to. Look, there's the space panda. There's our mascot.
I genuinely love this.
I love that.
I love that so much.
You actually like something?
Yeah, I love the whole panda thing. I think it's great when you came up with it. When AI came up with it, I think it just looks awesome. I'm glad we're sticking with it.
I'm glad you're happy. I don't know what this is behind me, but I'm happy you're happy.
I love the panda.
And before we move on to our guest, I just would like to point out that this whole podcast was your idea. Everyone thinks that because I'm the one putting on a show and you're here all grumpy that it was my idea, but you came to me begging to do a podcast a couple of years ago. Am I wrong?
Definitely wasn't begging. I came up with an idea.
Which was?
A podcast.
Wow.
That was sci-fi related. I knew you would be interested. I also came up with the name of the podcast. And the approach was...
Because it was a Star Trek Picard episode at the same time.
We were discussing how we should approach it, and the fact that our friendship is completely based on fighting and insulting each other, we decided that would be the basis of the show.
You are an easy target, so it made it very easy for me here.
Fair enough.
Well, thank you for starting this off. And because of that...
wait.
Yes. Yes?
Do you know what time it is?
No, it's too soon.
Do you know what time it is?
Oh, God.
It's time for Trevor's Tangent. Trevor's Tangent. Trevor's Tangent.
So much worse live.
Trevor's Tangent actually has to do with you.
Oh.
Yeah. And the fact that I think we've scheduled watching Megalopolis together about 10 times and it just hasn't happened, has it?
No, we're very close to almost watching it.
Yeah, we're very, very close to
what's
almost
holding you
watching.
back?
I need to not watch Megalopolis.
Heard it was awful.
I have a feeling I'm really going to like it, but I just can't get motivated for it. I can't.
Wow, you wasted our precious episode 2 of season 3
Yes.
on that statement.
Yes.
Because I was just about to give you a gift. Can I give you a gift?
You're going to give me a gift?
Yes, because you brought up how it was your idea for this podcast.
Oh, wait, hold on. And that's all for Trevor's Tangent.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I spoke through Trevor's Tangent.
Yeah, I know.
You've completely lost.
It's called Trevor's Tangent.
I know, but you've lost your mojo where you used to just cut me off.
Yeah.
You're getting weak.
Tell me about it.
But anyway, if I can go back,
Sure.
This whole podcast was your idea, and you came back, as you said, you came begging me to do this with you, and your idea was let's do a podcast. So because of that, and this wardrobe thing's not working out for you, I have this lovely shirt I'd like you to show our audience here. I'm handing him a t-shirt, our first merch, as the kids say. He's slowly, see, this is also an audio podcast. You have to talk about it. Slowly holding it up. And what does it say, Trevor? It says...
Oh, it says no-win scenario.
And then small print. Do you need your old man glasses?
Be case no one else has a podcast.
Try again. Is there a U missing?
Be case.
Oh my God, there is a typo in the official no-win.
There is a typo in the no-win scenario. We're going to sell these like hotcakes. We're going to sell these like hotcakes. They're going to be in demand. You better not change these.
Oh my God.
This is how this BECASE be case. No one else has a podcast. I have moobs. I have man boobs, but I will proudly wear this t-shirt.
This is what happens when you order Canva, a t-shirt, and you rush it. These things cost me like $100 to get them in a day.
Be case no one
because
else
it was supposed to say no win scenario because
this is like
no one else.
Gift. This is a gift. This is the gift right here.
Well, can we wear these? I think we should still wear these.
We should still wear
Okay, but maybe let's put them on during the break. Okay.
Sure, sounds good.
All right, so I think we need to. Typo was 100% planned, everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's well thought out.
It was definitely planned.
It was definitely planned. Well, let's move on to our guest, please.
Good thing I'm the one that invented this podcast.
We have actress Julie McNiven joining us.
Yes.
She's been in Mad Men and Supernatural and Doom Patrol and a whole host of TV shows and movies. So I'm excited to beam her in to the studio.
I watched one of her episodes of Supernatural last night. She was
not the audience.
She was very good at it.
Yeah, you were probably in your mid-30s 20 years ago when that was on. 35.
It started in 2008.
That was like the year
2005.
Right.
So I was 29, and then it ended in 2020. So I was 62 or something like that.
Yeah, I think we're on the same page.
Yeah.
Well, fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for listening. Stay tuned for our interview with Julie McNiven.
Stay tuned.
You're the worst.
I don't like you that much either.
It's time for the no-win scenario fun fact. Don believes in alien life. Trevor believes in Don only when absolutely necessary.
Lowe's knows you've got a job to do, and we help get it done. With the MyLowe's Pro Rewards program, eligible members save more with volume discounts on qualifying orders through a quote of $2,000 or more. Join for free today. Lowe's, we help, you save. Offer can't be combined with any other discount, contract, and/or special pricing. Exclusions, more terms, and restrictions apply. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
Hi, my name is Julie McNiven. I've been an actor for, 20 years, I think, professionally. And I was in New York at first, Then I went to LA for many, many years, and now I am in Massachusetts.
Well, welcome back
Good
to
old Mass.
Massachusetts.
Yep.
And we're gonna uncover what that journey was, and now people know you from. Well, how do you find that people know you from? Is it Supernatural? Is it Mad Men? Is it a mix? Yeah.
Yeah, it depends on the person, but I would say, I mean, I do, Supernatural being sci-fi has the con circuit. I don't know if you're aware, but there's these conventions that the actors kind of tour with, and the fans, we now have, now that it's been like, I mean, they did 15 seasons, but it's been a few years. So it's been like 20 years since the show started. And there's a whole new set of audience in fandom. There's the fandom that came with the first generation, and now they're watching it with their kids. And the younger kids are starting to tune in. And so they're probably like in their 20s, but whatever. And some of them will be, parents that have watched it that now watch it with their kids, and then they all go to the cons together. And so, yeah, most of the time, if I get recognized and they don't say I'm Jessica Chastain, it's usually for, yeah. In fact, was at the gym, and there's, I let them go for a second. They're like, "Oh my God, you totally look like, what's her name?" And I'm just like waiting for them to say Jessica Chastain, because it inevitably is Jessica Chastain. And then she goes, "That girl from Supernatural." And I was like, "Me?" I was like, "Yes, actually, that's because that's me." So it was the first, it only happened once, guys.
You've never been walking down the street and hear somebody go, "Yo, Julie McNiven," like nothing. No. It's going to happen.
No, I mean, I feel like I got recognized more as Jessica Chastain in LA, and here it's less for sure, because people don't expect. Why would an actor live here? They don't. LA is very like it's a visual. Everyone looks at everyone. You know what I'm saying. I don't mean to judge LA, but
they're judging you. LA's judging you.
They're judging you. So
I can tell you why an actor would be living here instead of LA, and that's because everybody's leaving LA from.
Everybody is leaving LA. LA, including the industry. I mean, really, even when the industry was big there, I rarely worked in LA. All of my jobs were in. I did a couple sci-fi recurring and guests, and shot in Atlanta then, and Toronto. I did a couple guest stars and stuff in LA. Well, and then of course Mad Men to start, but after Mad Men, I guess most of my stuff was elsewhere. And that was when everything was in LA. So once everything left LA, I was like, and everything was on a self-tape. We lived in a safe enough place. Like our house wasn't in danger from fires or anything, but it was kind of like compacted, right? I mean, all of Los Angeles is super compact. And I was just like, I don't want to be here when a big earthquake hits. Like, I don't want to be here trying to buy toilet paper again, like during another COVID. Like, it just didn't feel like, it kind of just felt like we were done. And now that everything was on self-tape, you can live anywhere. And I had actually just switched my reps. I was kind of like, a month later, I was like going to be leaving Los Angeles. And I called them and I was like, this was happening, hope you guys are still on board. And they were like, yeah, fine. You can live anywhere. And then it was like, no big deal. And plus they have a New York division as well. So it worked out really well. But yeah, the industry is very different now than when it started, or when I started in it. And I feel really lucky that I started when I did, because I was able to kind of work at a time when you didn't have to be a household name to book a job. And I don't mean to sound like Debbie Downer about it. It's a lot hard. People do book work that are not famous. It's just a lot harder to do so because there's so much competition. Every new show on every streaming platform and network wants to have star power so that their show will be more successful and last. And it turns out it doesn't really work that way. They're going to keep doing it. They're going to keep casting the famous people over and over again. But that does not guarantee that the show is going to be the best fit for those people.
I recently watched a 4-part miniseries on Netflix called Adolescence.
Ooh, I need to check that out. I've been a little bit nervous about watching it.
You should be nervous about watching it.
Yeah.
It was very intense. I'm in, not to make it personal, but I'm in a very sensitive part of my life right now. And that show was maybe a bit too much. What I did notice is that it does have star power. It does have Stephen Graham, who's a well-known British actor. But I found that the most compelling performances came from the character actors who I'm not
didn't recognize.
Right, that I didn't recognize.
Or that their recognition. Whether you recognize them from X, Y, and Z or not, it's their performance wasn't distracted by their fame.
Sure.
Having anonymity in a project creates more authentic, believable productions, I think.
I think few people can really disappear from their personality. I mean, Meryl Streep can do it.
Like, I will say the New York shows right now, now that I'm in the area, I'm like, okay, got to get up on, the Law and Order, Law and Orders are great because all the guest stars you're not going to recognize. Most of them are just actors. They're just working actors.
Speaking of famous people, and I'm going to ask Mike to play something back so I can get your reaction here. I recently was able to interview a former colleague of yours, and he had this to say about you. So, Mike, can we roll it back?
Before we get started, we have something in common. Julie McNiven says hello.
Oh my gosh, yes.
She said,
Mad Men alumni, as it were.
She says hi.
Aww.
Please give her my best. That's so nice. As I said, it's a big part of my life.
So that was really cool that I got to meet him, and he said some more nice things about him. I was, my little squirrely voice.
Was he being roasted? Is that what he was out
being roasted at Harvard at the Hasty Pudding? So I got to spend a few minutes talking to him about that. But I started with that, and it was interesting. He's so well known, and he just, when I was there, just talked about how much he loved working in Mad Men, almost to the point of being kind of sad that it's not still around. And because he's obviously working since, and he's in a show now, but it's not the same. And I'm curious if it was different working on that and working back then than it is now. I mean, so for people don't know, we're Hildy.
I mean, I think obviously the show means different things to both of us. Like for him, it was his first. I mean, he had been working
for a long time.
A while. He had been in LA for a while. He had several kind of recurrings and stuff, but nothing that would provide mortgage payments, maybe. I don't know. And so, this was like his first leading role in a TV series, which back then AMC obviously was not a network that did shows. So it was kind of, I'm doing this show, it's on AMC. AMC? Yeah, AMC. Who knows? So I think, for him, obviously, this was a huge, big step in his career. And for me, I guess similarly, I was in New York doing off-Broadway and little tiny jobs here and there. And Hildy was not a huge role, but it brought me, I remember even in New York, I said, I'm not a dummy. I'm not going to LA unless a show takes me to LA. There's too much talent in LA. You can't. I knew I could not just go to LA as a 23-year-old and just hope to make it. Like, let's just see. Like, I knew that wasn't going to be my path. I just instinctively knew like that LA, and even now coming back to East Coast, I'm like, oh, I'm so much more East Coast than I am LA.
Oh yeah. And
that's just, it's partly looks, it's partly feel, like personality. I just feel more, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. I'm just more East Coast.
You got more bite.
California, and I love living in California. I love living in Los Angeles, but like I said, I showed up here. I'm not wearing any makeup. I did not brush my teeth. I mean, I brushed them this morning, but I did not brush them right before. Like I'm just not like. I mean, I put deodorant on, but like.
Can you
the
show
natural
how to do that? Because I could use it.
It's just, I don't know. I just feel more grounded here, I think. I do miss the sun, but,
well, you
I'll
seem
have less sun-damaged face.
Well, you seem to have a strong sense of self to know that at 23, you knew what the best
I didn't tell you
was
before that. I met Don's wife, Rachel, at Frenchwood Festival, which is a summer camp. And we went there for several years. It was like 94 to 98 or something. And so I knew Rachel way before she met Don. And I think I was basically 100% wanted to be on Broadway in musicals. Like that was it. What I wanted to do. And I started to go down to New York City and audition open calls sometime in college. And it was very quick that I was like, I think I'll have more of a chance to do film and TV. And so I just flipped. I was like, look, I can sing. I don't suck, but I am not Broadway material. If I practiced every day and had the best coaches, maybe I could be in the chorus if I was lucky. I knew from a younger age, if I wanted to be successful at this, I needed to be specific about where my talent lay and how I can claw my way into work.
And the work that you did, you've done, Supernatural, you did Stargate Universe, you're in Doom Patrol recently, you've done Christmas movies, holiday movies, I think.
Yeah.
Were they Hallmark?
Yeah.
They're Lifetime.
It was Lifetime.
Lifetimes.
Yeah. I mean, they're very similar feel, though.
Vibe. Yeah. Sorry, it's not. Those aren't on my radar as a sci-fi nerd, but and of course you've done Mad Men and a lot of other films and TV shows. Do you approach? How do you approach those differently? Do you have you had a preference over time? I mean, you're going to cons now, so that must be you.
I mean, I will always prefer a sci-fi job over anything else because I feel like sci-fi. I mean, I've died so many times, and they just
bring that up.
Me back.
I've seen you die a few times.
it's way more fun. I love the aspect of being on a spaceship, and the science involved and stuff. I was talking about math stuff that I don't know what I'm talking about. I just memorized it and, and I'm playing this very smart person. I'm like, it's all acting, guys. I don't know how to do math.
I did enjoy seeing you get incinerated last night when I saw your last episode of Supernatural.
That was really cool. I mean, cool that the visual effect is cool. I never came back to life after being burned to ashes, sadly. But it could have. They seriously could have. I mean, it's you can just do anything and explain it and figure out a way to make it work, which I think is really fun.
Or not explain it. Just make it happen.
Or not.
Yeah.
Yep.
You don't have to explain it in sci-fi.
Go the Lost version and just not explain.
Go the Lost version. Yes.
We're
talking about that in a little bit.
We were just fighting about it.
But but some of the critiques of I'm just curious if you've had this experience, but you're going around for Supernatural conventions right now.
Yeah.
There's a little circuit going on. Have you had generally positive experiences with fans? A lot of critique is that sometimes the fans are a bit much. Trevor?
Honestly, I mean, I'm like any group of people, there's going to be someone that's a little much, but for the most part, the fans are amazing. I have not had a bad experience with any of them. Even when I first started doing the cons in 2010 or something, 2011, a long time ago. and it was like soon after I had the sex scene in the Impala with Dean, and I was kind of like, are they gonna hate me now? And I think it was fine. No one, I mean, I think people always will ask me about that scene. I'm sure you guys don't care about it, but like all the female fans do. And so I'll always get questions. And I saw Jensen at a con maybe 2 years ago or a year ago. And I was like, Jensen, do you know how many hours of my life I've spoken about that scene? Like, he's no one's ever asked him about, like, I was like, did they ever ask you about, no, they never asked him about that scene. I get asked about the scene so much. I was like, I've talked about it for years that I don't really remember the actual day it happened. All I remember is the stories of me talking about it. Wow. So I don't even know what I'm saying anymore.
Do people ask you about it as an actress, or like, do they think you're a fallen angel fighting?
No, they ask as an actor. I think they just, the boys they didn't have too many steamy scenes on that show. It really was about their bond and fighting the bad guys. And, it wasn't really a love story with partners. It was, they were the love story, the brothers. So I think it was, the fans kind of get excited when it does happen.
Well, speaking, I think as Trevor here's a supernatural scholar, I think he had a technical question for you. I believe
yes.
we prepped earlier on. Please, Trevor.
Two things. One thing I noticed with your performance is that the base of the performance is that you're kind of in this trance-like state, and then you're acting on top of that trance-like state. What was that like? If you know what I'm talking about.
Well, so I think you're referring to when I first come into the show, I am seeing things.
Yeah.
So I'm confused and overwhelmed, and I'm kind of in a state of trance or trauma, whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. And once I see the boys, I see Dean, and I'm like, no, they're talking about you. This is real. So yeah, I think there is kind of a stacked sense. I definitely did not consciously think about that when I was doing it. But that's an interesting observation. Yeah, it makes sense.
The other thing I noticed is that the scene in the church in that same episode, this is really technical, but there's this thing in film.
It's okay to laugh at him.
There's this thing in filmmaking called eye lights. And it just makes the eyes pop, and they have a little light, and it just brings out the eyes in the scene.
Yeah.
Everybody else, the common thing is that they use just a single light. And I don't know if you remember this, but in your scenes all your coverage in that scene, you had 4 lights in a specific arrangement to make it look like it wasn't like a square, it was like a diamond, and you had this just diamond shape in your eye. And I'm telling you, it is on purpose. Because it's
I would be so
obvious.
Curious to talk to the lighting designer. Because I remember
4 lights being shot in your face.
20 years ago, Trevor. 20 years ago.
Yeah.
It's such a weird experience. I was thinking that possible.
And for the record, he's asking this question. He asked the question about her acting solely because I made fun of him for prepping this question earlier off camera. So he had to ask the acting question, which was nice.
Question.
Well, please talk about your highlight. Let's go. 20-year-old highlight.
No, I don't remember. Also, it being my first recurring, I knew technically what I was supposed to do. I had been a stand-in. I knew that I'm here on my mark, and then this line I moved to that mark, and so I knew all the technical things I needed to do. And then I was a very serious, this is my first real big job. I was focused, but I don't really have any memory of observing the way the lights were set up or anything like that. But
Well,
I do remember like
pop onto
seeing,
Netflix tonight. Go to.
No, I know what you're talking about because I've seen the image of that scene with my eyes, and I have at some point I remember thinking like my eyes look really cool in this shot. Like I do remember seeing that and having that reaction, but I don't. And I even think in the I might be wrong, but in the commentary, Sarah Gamble, who is one of the writers, she's amazing. She was one of the writers for, I think maybe she was, I don't think she was, maybe she was a showrunner, or maybe Eric was, and then she took over. I can't remember. But she, in the commentary, said something about my eyes during that first episode. And I don't remember if it was during the church scene or just in general, but she said specifically something about my eyes. And I maybe it was on, maybe I'm sure it was on purpose. Most things are.
It's
and I'm
so
just, the dumb actor who shows up and is unaware of all the technical aspects around me.
Yeah.
But yeah, interesting.
If you could, I mean, so you've died in Supernatural, you died in Stargate. What else have you died in? I feel like I'm missing one.
Well, I died a few times in each of those.
That's true.
And then I died in an episode of NCIS LA. I died. Oh no, I didn't die in Fringe. I just got married.
Of course, Fringe.
I didn't die in Fringe. I got married.
I got married, but I got married.
Same thing, Julie.
They would talk about my character in future I shot one episode. It was supposed to be like possibly recurring, and then the guy that in the Charlie. But it was Scarly because it was in the alternate universe, right? I think Scarly, right? We called him Scarly. I think we got married and then we went away on a honeymoon, but it was because the guy playing Charlie booked another series. And I was like, it could have been recurring on Fringe.
Yeah.
I mean, they probably would have killed me anyway, but whatever. That would have been fun.
So my question is, who would you like to revisit if you could bring anyone back to life and jump back in?
Well, yeah, I think that Anna is probably somewhere in the empty still. So if there was a way to have another season, I think she's there still. She never had her black, a lot when the angels die, they do this shot from like a ceiling POV of the angel, and there's always like big black, almost ashy wings, right? So it's like they're officially dead. Mm-hmm. I never had that.
No,
I was just Ash, but I was not black winged Ash. And so I don't think she's dead. So I would love to, I get a lot of the questions from fans often are like, we really loved you until you went bad. And I will argue every time that I never went bad. If I have to kill one person to save the world, wouldn't you do that too?
In fact,
I mean, if
she
you're
was in a no-win scenario. Get it? No-win scenario.
You're in, yeah.
Shut up.
It's what is it? The old age, like if you're on a train and you down the track, there's one child, and then over here there's 30. Which way are you going to go? Well, I mean, it's a horrible scenario. Right. I don't want to kill anyone, but if you're going to save the world,
you got to do it.
Yeah. So anyway, I will always argue that she never went bad. She just was able to kind of separate. She didn't have like the same kind of love and affection gene that Castiel kind of formed. And so I would love to see Anna again. I would love to see what Hildy ended up doing.
Yeah.
Because I think she, like we never saw what she was doing during like the mid to late 60s when like the feminist movement was kind of hitting. Like, would she lean into that? Would she be more, I mean, I would have expected her to be stick to her kind of more formal self and more buttoned up self. I mean, Janie, who did the costumes, is amazing. She did all of the 1823 and all of the what is that ranch show?
Yellowstone.
All of the yell. I don't think she did yell at him, but she did all the period stuff
Yeah,
for
yeah.
1850 or 1823 at 1923. And she always put me in like outfits that like just, and they were completely intentional because the energy I was giving Hildy from the very beginning was very proper, very prudish, very tight-lipped, really innocent. Like, I mean, it's basically me. I mean, really, the character description when I read for that was secretary.
That's it.
So that was, and that was actually really interesting to see how, in real life, how actors and writers can kind of collaborate on the spot creating the show. Is they didn't know who I was. I didn't know who I was supposed to be, but I just showed up and like started to play off Vinny's character, Pete Campbell, and he's easy to dislike. So
I thought
that's where I went with it. And then, as the season went on, it was like they would write for that energy. And I was like, so you're kind of doing this dance, like trying to figure out, the really small characters, like where I'm just delivering information. Like I could just deliver information, but it's a lot more interesting to deliver it with a full person behind it. And so it was really interesting to see how that collaboration went. And it was really fun. I loved it.
I thought your character was perfectly matched for him and vice versa. Perfectly.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just love that was so organic.
Mm-hmm.
People probably saw that and look back and think like, obviously Hildy was created to be the antithesis of, no, it's secretary, it's just secretary.
Right.
I had one line in the pilot. That's really all. Like I did the line. They were like, cool. You want to do it again? And I was like, sure. Did it again and booked the job. I mean,
wow.
Those kind of things. It's usually not that way.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you from experience, it's usually not that easy to book a role that then turns into 30 episodes or 20 episodes or whatever it was. But I was just very lucky for that particular thing.
Yeah. So much of the industry is luck. And I kind of want to fast forward now, we're 2025, we're doing this, we're having this conversation. And actually, Trevor and I both recently found this, read this New York Times article that came out. Now, it was aimed at talking about Generation X, which you are not. You, I believe, are a young millennial.
I'm
Cuspy.
I'm 1980, so I'm that weird.
First. No, you're the first. Because I'm only a year older than you, and I'm the last Generation X, I believe.
Oh, okay.
But anyway.
I thought there was like a funny middle. Anyway. Go ahead.
Is there there's a middle ground?
I think there's an extra one they threw in there because we grew up analog to digital.
Right.
And so they like 77 to 81, they made like an extra little or something. Well, yeah. Anyway,
don't worry, Boomer. We can. But so the article was talking about it was about creatives who are Gen X and roughly our ages, and people who thought they were putting in their dues early and trying to be and work hard and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And they were talking about actors, but I think it applies to actors as well. But now they find themselves as like, we were waiting for the payoff, but somehow the payoff isn't coming and we're not being marketed to. We're not, technology obviously changes all the time, but it's gone so fast that we're just, that age is being left behind and it becomes almost impossible to work as a creative in any sort currently.
Yeah.
I mean, I read that article and it was a panic attack for me. I'm 48 years old. I lost my job in December, and to read something and I'm having such a hard time finding work. And here it was saying that everybody in my age group, including elder millennials, are screwed. And it was a heart attack of an article. And and they said it was across the board. Anybody that's doing anything creatively, from performance to directing to graphic design to music, and the irony is that we still have a lot of advertisement power. But nobody's targeting ads at us.
Right.
And so I guess the question for you is, like, you moved to Massachusetts, you have the flexibility to do self-tapes from anywhere. You know, so technology can help, but obviously AI is a big thing.
Yeah.
We started this podcast a few years ago when there was the strike that was so much about AI because we were able to get access to so many people who were on strike and able to talk to us about it. So I'm just curious, you know, your perspective and how you're seeing
I definitely feel that. And I think as a female actor in particular, we feel it 10 times harder than any man. And that's partly just ageism and not allowing women to age, but allowing men to age. They're like hotter and hotter as they get older, and women are like, oh, like grosser and grosser. They have dimples on their legs, and, you know, our faces are falling. And like, that's just like aging. I mean, and a lot of women will get, you know, things done and fixed up and tightened up, but you know, I think so. We hit a couple walls. So we hit, if you're an actress and you want to have babies, you know, that's the first wall that's the first wall I hit. This is all from my experience. And I think my contemporaries would probably agree with me. It was almost like getting pregnant put the brakes on. There was momentum for me, and then I got pregnant, and it was almost like, now I'm living this life. Okay, cool. But I also, you know, I'm not done. Like, what happened? Why, you know, it just felt, and it wasn't like one particular person or my agent or anything. It was just like a general sense from the industry that, but now you're a mom. And I think when you're already famous and then you become a mom, it's like no big, like, fine. It does not affect your career at all. But if you're not, and I say this about COVID, if you weren't famous, like household name before 2020, it became so much harder to book anything. And I find that true with a lot of my friends that are in similar boats, like wonderful, amazing, talented people, not household names. And therefore it's gotten a lot trickier. And, you know, sorry, going back to, so as, you know, as women age too, there's just not as many roles, there's just not as many roles for us. Right. And so that was noticeable and difficult for me, partly because like, I kind of just started playing my age. And even last week I went out for a role that was like 30s, like very vague. And I was like, well, I mean, they're calling me in, so I guess, yeah. And of course I just find out the person they offered it to is super duper famous and definitely late 30s, early 40s. So, you know, I think, you know, although she was famous, so it probably didn't matter really how old she was. But, you know, I think we hit a lot of walls that are like, you know, we talk about like being persistent and, you know, getting back up and finding new ways to figure out how to reframe how we're thinking about all of this. Because if I just went around thinking like, I know granted you just listen to this podcast, you're like, wow, she's really bitching about acting right now. But I don't, on a normal everyday basis, have that mentality. I mean, it is kind of I'm laying out the truth for you, but I don't go around on my day-to-day life feeling the heaviness of all that, because it's just not going to do me any good. I mean, it really is like, how do you last this long in the industry and still do it and not be broken? Is you have to prioritize manifestation, positive but not toxic thinking, a lot of meditation that I think I kind of always did without knowing it was what I was doing. A lot of not going in the front door, but finding a window, which I always did when I started. And I would tell people, like, everyone's waiting in line. Don't wait in line. go find another way in, and don't be gross about it, but like figure out another way to get in the door. I don't know. I don't know if I answered your question, but I talked a lot. So.
You did, but like one, beyond the barriers that you have that you talked about, what we're finding talking to the guests the last few years is it's that, and the industry is becoming unsustainable for people to work in, regardless if they're acting, if they're on the production team.
Yeah, totally.
You're not doing 20, 30 episodes a season. You're doing 6 or 10 if you're lucky.
You're doing 6 or 10. And so I hit this, so in the fall, this great new show that I had this recurring audition on, and it said something about the payment, and I was like, this can't be right. Like, this is a streaming service. I've worked for HBO before. This is not what we get paid per episode.
Mm-hmm.
And so what this show was doing was they were paying one actor a lot of money, and then the rest of the ensemble cast was getting, I think they had got cut off at like 45 or 50, which sounds like a lot, but when you work on series regular on TV, that's, that's not super high.
No.
And that's maybe the top, right? The people, like, there were probably plenty of leads that were getting 25, 30.
Wow.
And then all the guest stars and recurrings were getting like a sixth of what we just struck 9 months for. We just struck for 9 months. And then these auditions come, and I'm like, wait, I'm getting less than what we just fought for? And it kind of feels like Hollywood is just this big race to the bottom, because did I audition for that? Yes, I did, of course. Because if I didn't audition and I didn't book it, but if I did, and I was like, well, I want to get my regular rate, they'd be like, no, we'll just go with the next girl. And so it's just this race to the bottom. Like, who can we pay the least? We take $6,000, $5,000, $3,000. Okay. Oh, you'll do it for $100 a day. Fantastic.
Wow.
And so that's what it does kind of feel like that when you're below, when you're not one of the famous, like, top tiered people. And even the top tier people probably have some words for people who are like, okay, I'm a top tier person, but the man is getting twice as much as me. What? No, I should be getting equal. So there's always some sort of fight there, but it's how am I going to make a living if I'm getting a sixth of what we just struck 9 months for?
How do they justify that, though?
And how do the unions go along with it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Wow. But the show is really good and people love it. So they're going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
And you know what? And if I got to audition for that again, I would be happy to.
Yeah.
I mean, at least it's like a lot of those roles were multi-episode arcs. So maybe that's how they got away with it. Like, it's not like you're doing, 1 or 2 scenes, or you're there for 3 weeks of shooting or something. So I don't know. I don't know how they get away with it. There's always new, like, clauses, or like, oh, this is a different classification or contract or whatever. And it does kind of feel like you're like, oh, okay. I mean, I'll go get paid less.
That's what the heart of that New York Times article is about. It's these are the peak earning years for Gen X and elder millennials, and it's not
We're
there.
Not getting
it's not there at all. The work is just not there.
So, I mean, I think in that respect, it makes me even more grateful that I started when I did, because I look at, like, people starting now or people starting 5 years ago, and I'm like, at least I got to build up decent credits on for residuals and stuff. Like, at least I had jobs that existed on network television where your residuals actually are decent. Once everything goes to streaming platforms, the residuals are totally completely different, and they're not going to help you pay your mortgage. So I'm glad I got to start when I did, and I'm glad I booked, I had some good years when I did have them. And then, I think I guess it was several years ago, I started writing, and that was like me being like, well, I can't just not be creative. Like I have stories to tell, and I guess I need to learn how to tell them in a different way. So I started writing, and I found a writing partner, actually, my friend David Blue, who was on Stargate Universe, who played Eli. We wrote together for many years.
Wow.
We have a couple pilots we wrote, and now now everything has even shifted more. So now I'm, the last pilot I wrote, I'm like, wait, why am I writing a pilot? No one's going to make this. Everything has to be independently made now. So if I want to make this, it's got to be for me, even though that's like, it's not usually, I've never written anything purposely with me in mind, because I think that, I don't think that's the best way to do it. Especially as someone who's not 20 years into a writing career. But I realized I need to not necessarily fund it, but I need to write it small for less locations, less post, small cast. And there's just all these things that now you're thinking it's cool to just write something for fun. If you have to tell a story, you have to tell a story. Like the other pieces I wrote that I had to write, one's like a fantasy one with no one's good. It's so expensive. It's like Harry Potter expensive. It's so stupid, but it's fun. And I needed to tell it. It was something I wanted to tell. And then another one was, I went on a 2-year research rabbit hole for the Blackwell sisters, who were the first two female doctors in America in the 1850s. And I was fascinated, and I did a lot of research and brought it to David in 6 books, and we need to write this. So we, figured out how to tell that story. So I think I'm feeling now my strategy has to it's kind of like parenting, right? You figure out how to parent your kid, and then they're totally different. You're oh crap, okay, all right, what do I need to figure out now? How do I parent you now? And so it's you're constantly having to change
tactics.
How to exist in this industry in a way that's positive, that hopefully, can bring you money and let you do what you love doing. And so I'm just, I'm trying to write this as a film instead. And part of me, and I do want to finish it, but part of me is also no, I need to also just do a one location for people.
Yeah.
And that might be the way. And then I know 4 people. I know 4 people who are at least more famous than me, which is not famous. So that will be helpful. I need to work with my friends. I need to do that and focus on that when I'm not doing self-tapes in the basement.
But also I think for the industry at large, one thing that I learned over the last bunch of years is that, nobody wants a good story. They want your audience. So if you have the audience of whatever it is, someone will snatch it up. One thing that I learned, took me years to learn this with my own project, is that I would get into these meetings and they're well, you have the pilot, you have the show, you have the potential Bible, all this stuff, but do you have the book? And do you have a following of are you a New York Times bestseller? Have the book, and then we'll pick that up, and then we'll redo everything. And so I spent years writing a book because I was reverse engineering what I did. And
yes,
that's
you thought about that too.
Yeah,
you just have to get an IP, right? If you have an IP, it's oh, cool, we'll make it. But if there's no IP, well, okay.
Yeah, but it's IP with with an audience of people or an influencer who that's why they're going for that, and it just makes it more challenging and just harder.
It does.
Yeah,
for sure. That's tricky because yeah. It's like, well, had I known that before, I would have just started with the book.
Exactly.
Right.
Well, that's how I felt about after 10 years or so.
Yeah.
Well, on that cheery note,
crazy.
I was hoping we'd see our space panda here that you called a space, a sloth.
It was a
beforehand.
sloth.
Yeah, it's
No.
popping up. We need to name the
I mean,
mascot.
he's wearing a helmet.
Is it a he or a she, actually? Come on. Let's go, Panda.
I don't know.
Mike, can you skip ahead for
it was a
us?
sloth, so.
Let's start from the top, Mike. Mike in the control room is doing a great job, but there we go. That's a sloth.
See, from it's cut off for me.
Oh, yes. You
so
can't
I
quite
see
it.
like half the face. I don't see the eyes, and that probably would clue me in that it was a.
Okay. Well, it's waving at us.
He is very cute, though.
Well, Julie, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you
really,
so much.
So great to see you again and appreciate your
Good
time.
to see you. Of course.
Did you know? Don believes Babylon 5 is the greatest science fiction epic of all time. Trevor believes Don should stop saying that out loud.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Okay, and
I'm still stuck on the t-shirt. I'm still stuck on the t-shirt. The t-shirt was, God, it was that is a real gift. Okay.
Can we move on?
Yes.
Because I was trying to welcome people back
Okay.
after our awesome interview with Julie, but you held it in during that interview. I know you wanted to mention the t-shirt.
Yes.
For the 50th time.
Absolutely.
You know, typos happen. It's a
Not on our official t-shirt.
Well, you know what? These are limited edition typo ones. So if you want a limited edition no-win scenario because what was it?
Because you can't even pronounce it.
In case no one else has a podcast, shoot us an email at nowinscenariopodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah,
Did you know that was our email, by the way?
And Don's going to charge an extra $20 for them. So
we'll sign it.
Yeah.
We'll sign it.
Definitely.
Highest bidder. We should
Oh my
auction it
God.
off.
I don't want to sign anything. I will sign every t-shirt.
Give us your bids at nowinscenariopodcast@gmail.com.
I will sign.
Can we move on
t-shirt.
now?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Last week was awesome, by the way. We didn't have a chance to debrief.
Last week was genuinely awesome.
So we
was
were
such an
invited.
amazing time.
No, that's not true. I was going to say we were invited. I was invited.
You were invited.
I was invited.
And you rolled it into a podcast
I
episode.
did because I'm devious. They wanted to invite a professor, and instead I said, I'll
bring this.
I'll bring it down a notch and say, how about we just do this for the No Win Scenario podcast instead of professing?
And I know this bum that's going to tag along.
And we got to interview Ed Ashton, who wrote Mickey 7, of which the film Mickey 17 that just came out a little while ago.
By Bong Joon-ho.
Yeah, great director. Parasite.
Great director.
Parasite's an awesome movie.
Parasite's awesome. Snowpiercer, Memories
I
of
love
Murder,
Snowpiercer.
Mother, Okja.
And Mickey 17 was fine.
I really liked Mickey 17. I thought the third act was a little long.
The third act was a little wonky,
but
especially compared to the book. Yeah.
But leading up to the third act, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the humor. I enjoy Bong's humor. Bong has a lot of sick and twisted, over-the-top humor in his films.
Not quite the same as Fifth Element, but like it leans more Fifth Element than other things.
Yes,
I think.
Yes.
I honestly, I liked the movie better the second time I saw it.
Yes,
for sure, absolutely. Because you're not disappointed; you're just enjoying it for the ride. You know, I did like the book better.
Right.
I did think that Ed Ashton's Mickey 7 book was a little bit better.
Yeah.
It's a hard book to adapt.
Right.
Because there was a big chunk of backstory about why multiples are banned in the universe that they couldn't really get into.
Right.
The way that it's written out in the book, which I thought was really good.
Right. And that backstory section's like 10 pages, and you could tell if they did film that alone would cost $100 million. It's
absolutely.
It's so, those 10 pages are so epic.
And I'm looking for the book. I do have a signed copy of that book over
Right
there.
back
by the
there.
window. There's the panda.
Yeah,
Hey,
right
panda.
in front of the panda.
Oh, we need to name the panda, actually. We should, listeners can.
Oh, I already know what we should name the panda.
What's that?
B-Case.
B-Case the panda?
Yeah.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard is...
because no one ever had a podcast before. Okay. Anyway, so the book I thought was great. I know you read a couple pages of it before the interview.
I'm halfway through the book and I'm still reading it.
You know, the interview was last week.
Yes, I know.
And you just... That's why you didn't say much, right? I thought you were just leaving me out to dry. But
no,
you
I was
had
definitely, my goal was to hang you out to dry, which I did.
The first thing after we were done with the interview, I said to him, I said, what was going on? He says, you were being really hammy.
You were.
And he just had nothing to say. And he just left me there.
I asked Ed some questions. I asked his wife some questions.
Yeah.
I asked questions.
I actually thought
but every time that you looked at me for a reaction, I just didn't respond.
Nothing. Dead nothing.
And you would get uncomfortable, and then you would say something dumb.
Would you do it again?
And yes, of course I would do it again in a heartbeat. Live, though. It has to be in front of a live audience.
Why is that? Because we have to behave?
Because you ham it up because you're sweating so much in front of a live audience. You really are. That is not an insult. It
was very warm in there.
You definitely, you're trying not to waste a second. You don't give anything some breathing room whatsoever. And it's just funny to see you just rapidly running through things. Just, you're desperate to not have a second of silence.
Are you done? Because me and the 4 listeners we have just fallen asleep listening to that.
I'm done.
Fantastic. Well, thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Julie McNiven. You got anything else to say, Trevor, before we move on?
No, I don't.
Okay, well, subscribe on on all your podcast platforms.
Yes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker,
iHeartRadio. For some reason, I love saying iHeartRadio, even though I don't subscribe to it, but why not?
Right.
And find us on our YouTube channel, which one of these days we'll find as well.
Yeah.
Our TikTok channel, No Win Scenario Podcast.
Yep.
And email us at nowin-scenario-podcast@gmail.com. And don't forget, email us your interest for these t-shirts, and maybe you could be the lucky owner.
Want a t-shirt.
You want
one. Trust me, it's the greatest shirt I now own.
And stay tuned for our next episode where we will be wearing these t-shirts.
Stay tuned.
If it fits Trevor. Bye-bye.
Bye. In today's world, mental health is everyone's concern. If you or someone you know is in crisis, please use these resources. For U.S. listeners, call 1-800-950-6264 or text HELPLINE, all one word, HELPLINE, to 62640 or email helpline@NAMI.org. That's NAMI.org. For our international listeners, please visit suicidestop.com. That's SUICIDESTOP.com.